Over the past 12 months, we've installed 3 diesel heaters and have learned some tough lessons along the way. We're going to share 5 tips that might help you if you're looking at installing a diesel heater in your RV. The first and most expensive mistake we made was underestimating the size of the diesel heater we used. We went originally with the Autoterm 2D diesel heater.
Got the planer heater. We did get the 2D version. There's a 4D and then there's some bigger units as well. We went by their recommendations based on the size of our rig. I've got a truck camper, it's 40 square feet, so we went with that.
We did that mainly because they had support in the United States, which I thought was really good, and their website was pretty clear on what sizes to use. So the sizing of this unit, I think we chose poorly.
You chose poorly.
It did say on their website that that was good for a 30-foot boat, which I thought would be good for our 13-foot camper, truck camper, but I was wrong.
Aw, you're so cute when you're wrong.
The main reason that it didn't work, I believe, is the fact that we have 2 slides. Those slides do let in a bit of airflow and do make it harder to heat the area. I should have known that a 2 kilowatt diesel heater was not sufficient, but I did it. And I think the worst thing about it is that when I went to use the customer support, it was poor. As I'm editing this video, I wanted to let you know where we stand on the heater. Right now, we're looking to upgrade to the 4D heater from Autoterm. We're working with them to see if we can get some discount or something like that. We spent a lot more money on that Autoterm diesel heater than any of the other diesel heaters by far. It was well over $1,000, and we got zilch on service. So if you're looking at cost versus value and the customer service is a big thing on it, I don't recommend Autoterm. At the same time, buying too big of a diesel heater is not quite as bad, but can cause you problems. The main issues that you're going to have there are added load on your system with larger fans. The pump is going to draw a little bit more current, as well as you're going to probably use a little bit more diesel versus a smaller unit. My biggest concern on using a too large diesel heater is the fact that it's not going to be on long enough in order to get all of that soot out.
Now it's got a smoke insulation here. Turn your fans on.
Okay. Oh shit, yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh good, I'm so glad that you got that up there. Yeah, it does need to be run on high for at least 10 minutes every time that you're running it, and preferably more in order to get all that soot out of the system. If your diesel heater is getting your rig up to temp very quickly and you're shutting it off prematurely, you could cause a lot more in maintenance down the road. And that's the main reason why we chose to buy a 5 kilowatt diesel heater instead of the 8 kilowatt. But you can do some research online to see if others with a rig of your size have already done this. Our next tip is something that has nothing to do with the installation of your diesel heater, but makes a huge difference once you get it installed, which is insulating your rig. Even though your rig may say it's 4 seasons, it's not. This Host Cascade, we have a Host Cascade camper, and it is considered 4 seasons because we have tanks in the basement that are away from the elements. But when you start getting into really low temps, you're going to have challenges. Before we went full time, I ended up insulating pretty much everything I could possibly touch in this camper. Anything that touched the outside walls that I could get into, cabinets, countertops, medicine cabinets, all of our stuff in our bathroom, and underneath in the basement. did everything I could to insulate this. I do have a video if you're interested in that, but basically it was a combination of Reflectix and this pink foam that we used. And that really has made a big difference in here. And again, this was a Four Seasons one, so don't think that additional insulation won't help. We also have covers that we put over our windows when it is really cold or really hot for that matter. Those windows do tend to bring in a lot of air from the outside, even if you have the double paned windows, which we do. So again, all options are really good in order to try to keep whatever you need inside your camper. And my next recommendation is to always have a backup heat source. When we were on the Trans-Wisconsin Adventure Trail, also known as the TWAT, we ended up having our diesel heater die on us. And we currently have our dinette torn apart, and we were not at a campground where we could use our electric fireplace, and it was also in the upper 20s. We ended up using a buddy heater. I'm so glad we had that as a backup heat source in order to figure things out until we can address the diesel heater itself. So definitely have multiple backup heat sources if you can. And tip number 5 is get a diesel heater thermostat. The diesel heaters behave quite a bit differently than your regular RV propane heater. When you usually get to temp on a propane heater, it shuts off. The fan shuts off, the blower shuts off, it's all good. With diesel heaters, instead, it just ramps down to a lower temp, and you have to manually turn them off. One of the options that we found was this little diesel heater, and this is from Burek. We can set a temp, and then it will go up to that temp, turn off, and we'll wait until a certain amount below that temperature to turn itself back on. This has actually made us be able to use that heater in a much more maybe normal fashion, I guess. This also made me feel a little bit more comfortable with using the diesel heater while we're driving. This will turn it off and on when needed rather than having that at constantly going as we're driving down the road. And since you've been here the whole time, I'm going to give you an extra tip. So this is tip number 6, have spare parts. We ended up having a diesel heater problem out in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, and really could have used a spare diesel pump. So we now have an extra one around, and I think that will help with being prepared a little bit more. If you're going to buy a Chinese diesel heater off Amazon, really do a good job of inspecting the parts. Some of those parts are subpar, and I would focus on the fuel tubes, the hose clamps and stuff. I would recommend to inspect those and perhaps replace them if you feel that it's necessary. We did. We haven't had our existing diesel heater for very long, maybe about 6 weeks, but we will share the link in the description. It's an H-calorie version, 5 kilowatt. It does have Bluetooth, and it seems to be working okay for the moment. Also, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. It is always fun being able to camp in the winter. And if you're thinking of winter camping, you might want to check out this video. Until later, sometime maybe? I don't know. See you later. Bye-bye.